Morning, everyone. So, my sister Rungy suggested that I do a video, kind of a late summer garden video, because I haven't done one in a while. And even though a lot is dying back now, it's still looking pretty cool. So I thought I'd give everyone kind of a quick tour today. But so we're going to start here with the pumpkin patch because there's some new stuff going on. So I know a lot of people haven't seen what we did with the pumpkin patch. This is Blair. He ended up doing all of this painting. I just came up with the idea. He did the labor. I really appreciate this too because oh my God, it's so beautiful. We have to say that our pumpkin patch was not a huge success this year. I'm not all that surprised. This area where we put the pumpkin patch is kind of a low spot and the soil underneath is really full of clay. So even though we use good dirt at the actual mounds where the pumpkins are, the roots would have hit clay in no time. So we figured this year was going to be a year where we'd be lucky if we got any pumpkins. They still look cool as hell, but next year is going to be a lot better as we just keep developing the soil. But as you can see, there's a lot of vines here. And we did have a few late pumpkins come along. Let's see if I can find any. But considering we're in mid-September, there's just no way that they're going to develop. And we've already had to pay the animal tax, as you can see here on this one that we've got is all chewed up. So none of these would have developed anyway, so I'm not really all that angry about the animal tax right now. So I have to apologize for the road noise. I am so not a filmmaker and I never remember to bring my mic with me. So, sorry about that. We see these hay bales kind of all over. We got a bunch of these. They were on sale and what we're gonna do with them is spread them out, soak them with water and blood meal, and then let them break down over the winter, and then they're going to be used to amend the garden. It's so fantastic. It really does a great job amending the garden. So here's the cranberries. They grow slowly but surely, and they're doing well. Okay, so the entrance to the garden coming up here. A few very cool things to see. The moonflower has completely covered the windmill, as you can see here. So the windmill can't even turn anymore. I just can't even believe it. It's just strangled it. But look at those pretty moonflowers. So gorgeous. And they're open in the morning, but they close, by the heat of the day. You can see up here too. We have them covering the entrance into the garden. So still looking pretty cool. One thing I want to show you, I just finished harvesting. Here's the thing. You may think you're done with the garden, but the garden's not done with you. Most of our tomatoes had stopped, I thought, but this basket is practically full. There's a lot of peppers in here. We had a great pepper year. A lot of peppers, really beautiful peppers. Like this chocolate brown. This is a Lesia, kind of heart-shaped, so sweet and wonderful. I think my favorite this year though is still these beautiful gold sweets. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. And then we got some of these really fantastically sweet Rossos, which I've been trying to grow for years. And this year, finally, we got a really good one. But this is mostly tomatoes, one cantaloupe, a couple cukes. And then over here, my basket, cherry tomatoes and other stuff too. It's really surprising that I got so much today, and you'll see in a minute, because the tomato plants are done. At least I thought they were. Okay, so coming into the garden, you can see things are really dead and sorry looking. They really are. But they're still looking, I don't know, I still find it beautiful even though it's in decline, serious decline. The Love Lies Bleeding, which since this is in the amaranth family, this stuff is going to seed and volunteer all over the garden. So I love how it looks now, but I have a feeling I'm going to be sorry I let it go to seed as much as I did, because it's going to be everywhere. These are all volunteers. They're still coming in, these tomatoes. I'm not sure what they are. I think they might be black Krim. but I don't know. They're volunteers, so I really don't know. Those are volunteers as well. They're really coming to an end. So we pulled all the onions out. This onion patch, this year we're going to dedicate this patch to rhubarb and asparagus. So this is where they're going to live from now on. And that was the garlic patch. As you can see, Blair's been amending it. And that is going to be potatoes in next spring. It's easier to grow potatoes in the ground. You don't have to worry quite as much about them getting too dry. And even though that is a slightly raised bed, it's not as raised as the bed that we had the potatoes in last year. Corn, we're going to try corn again. I am going to try it, and this year it's going to be a solar-powered electric fence around it. We have various plans for this stuff. I don't remember, I'd have to look at my notes. Strawberry patch, oh my god, it's so weeded. It desperately needs to be weeded. It's the roselle, so pretty, but it still hasn't flowered, and I don't know if it will. I don't really care because the plant is so beautiful that, you know, it's been wonderful. Here's the forest of rosemary. Rosemary loves this time of year. So we'll have rosemary like right up to the first frost. Sorry about the noise. Sage doing very, very well. Amaranth and parsley. Cucumbers, as you can see, they're coming to an end here. They're still producing, but with a few exceptions, we stopped picking them just because we have more than we need. You know, and that's really hard for me. It's hard for me to stop picking when stuff is ready, but you know, I guess I get to the point where I have to realize that it's going to go into the compost one way or another. We cannot possibly eat 10 cucumbers each a day. So this was a year to experiment with diversity and see what we like, and so it was a worthwhile experiment. This, I have to just show you one thing I love about this time of year in the garden is that my companions, when I'm down here, are like that, pretty moth. Monarchs are everywhere, bees are everywhere. These Mexican torch sunflowers are just so popular with the pollinators, and there's just not much here for them now. So when I'm down here, I'm surrounded by butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds. Okay, I've raved about these plants before, and I still love them to death. These are tamarinds. Oh, I'm sorry, tamarillos, and we're going to grow these again. These are actually, believe it or not, these are called dwarf tamarillos, and they are, my guess, probably about 8 to 10 feet tall. And right now they're putting on fruit. Let's see if I can show you. This is like almost ripe. This right here. So they get really orange when they're ripe. I picked a few this morning, and they're very sweet, but when they're green, they are horrible. They're so bitter. Okay, let me come around here. Make sure my back is to the sun. I can show you a few more things. So the things that also just keep on growing and tempting me to pick them are peppers. These are shishitos, and while I will let shishitos sit on the vine, and the same with pepperoncini and jalapeno, I'll let those sit on the vine and compost them. I cannot do that with sweet peppers. I just cannot let sweet peppers go to waste. They are one of my favorite things in the garden, and I've never met a sweet pepper I don't love. So here's some examples. These are the Midnight Dream, and our peppers, oh man, they're amazing. We've just had an amazing year with peppers. The beans are pretty much done. So here what you're seeing is these are the Chinese noodle beans that we let go to seed so that we can save seeds and use them again next year. And then here's some more sweet peppers. Let me back up a little bit so you can see them more clearly. Okay, so over here, these are the chocolate beauties, which we will absolutely grow again next year. They are now starting to turn brown. I harvested probably about 4 of them this morning. Really huge. You can eat them green, fine. You just have green peppers. Nothing wrong with that. But they're very prolific. The ones that were a little bit slower to come in but have finally started coming in, although I think they're starting to die back, is the King of the North, which if you leave them, they'll eventually turn red. I'm not seeing any more. Well, yeah, these are really starting to die back. So I like the King of the North. I've liked everything, but I think for sure next year we've decided we will grow the chocolate peppers, the chocolate sweet peppers, and we'll for sure grow these sunset or sun, like, what are they called? No, what are they called? Gold sweet, sorry, gold sweets. I harvested a bunch of yellow ones this morning. But they're wonderful. They are just so amazing, and they just grow. There's so many of them on every vine. Okay, going back this way, you can see that the tomatillos have pretty much died back. I made a decision that we're not going to pick anymore because we just cannot possibly can them all, so we let them go. And, you know, in theory, the plant, if you stop picking, it stops producing because then it's done what it needs to do to keep itself alive. But I don't think anyone told tomatillos that. All right, so here's the tomato rows. You can see dying back, but again, I would guess I got about 15 pounds of tomatoes this morning. You know, they're not the best looking, but they are perfectly good for sauce or canning. Our beans, I also made the decision that we're going to stop picking these because we have put up more than we could ever use. So we're going to save some seed for next year. But you can see all the way to the end, the year diversity was good because we learned what we like and we know what we're going to grow next year. This was the most amazing thing ever. Okay, okra. My Northwest family probably don't have much experience growing okra, but these plants, I think I put in 6. They are huge, and this is the okra time of year. We have already once again put up more okra than we will use, probably. So we also made the decision no more picking okra. We're letting it go, and these things are so gigantic. Let me look how big they are. They're huge. So, I mean, I don't know, it's probably, oh yeah, here's a good view. I probably planted way too many. They get this big, they're not even good eating anymore. But I didn't know what to expect because I'd never grown okra. So, you know, live and learn. I will definitely grow it again next year, fewer plants, and come up with more things to do with it. Basil, it's done. The nasturtiums are not done. The lovely nasturtiums. And to come out here, this next year is going to be the onions right here. And this is going to be the garlic. So we're moving those next year. And raspberries, doing really well. We didn't get much this year, but it was the first year. So next year we hope to get more. And then coming around here, I might be able to give you a view of some monarchs. You can see right up there. Let me get in. Yeah, there's a monarch on that Mexican torch. They should be starting their migration pretty soon. I'm very excited about that because it's just so cool. So there you are, my fellow orphans of the COVID. This is the garden as it is now. And even though it's looking really tired, I still think it's beautiful. And I could spend all day down here, but sadly, I have to do paid labor today. So yeah, probably in the next few days, I'll do another video because something's down here. I don't know what, but something's down here. I hear it. Sometimes I think I catch a glimpse of it. So I'm going to do another video and see if I can't capture what's down here. Love y'all. See you later.